Hey, is our offense a wagon?
Absolute unit.
Absolute unit. We are tied for first in the Big Ten in home runs. That's the most telling thing to me about this offense, because Penn State is not an easy place to hit home runs.
There you go. I didn't even know that stat, but I watched the game. I see guys getting 30. You know.
We might be down a couple runs. I don't care at all. I know we're gonna have a big inning.
You know, even if we're not hitting home run after home run, we have production constantly.
Sal Biazzi, welcome back to the On Deck Circle. Good to have you, man.
What's up, big fella?
All
Exciting
right.
week in Penn State baseball.
Hey, is our offense a wagon?
Absolute unit.
Absolute unit. I mean, you see all levels of baseball trying to make baseball more exciting, boost the offensive numbers, and Penn State baseball certainly doing that. So very, very exciting team to watch. I feel like every game we're in, whether I'm watching it or not, but checking the scores, we might be down a couple runs. I don't care at all. I know we're going to have a big inning.
Yeah, no, it's an exciting offense, and they do a lot of things right. And I mean, what do we got? We just 37 home runs. 18 games into the season.
Yeah.
It's what's that? 15th in the country, I think we saw.
Yeah, it's something like that. But I'll tell you, I have our Big Ten rankings here, and we are tied for first in the Big Ten in home runs.
So
when have you ever heard that from Penn State baseball?
No, this might be the first time.
I personally, since I was a hitter at Penn State, am going to blame it on our giant outfield fence, which they have adjusted now.
What are the dimensions? Do we even know the dimensions of the field now?
I think the Nook had got brought in a little bit as 410 to left center when we played there. Not to mention the bats and balls had to be different.
Yeah, no, and I mean, dude, it's cold in early in the year, and the wind gets going and stuff, and they're doing a lot of things right on the offensive end. With that production.
Right, without a doubt. So I'd say right now our offense is probably the strongest point, and we'll get into all this, the strongest point of our team. But so far, our offense has really led the way in a 14-4 start and 2 series wins to start off the Big Ten schedule. So we're 4-2 to 2-1 against Indiana, which is awesome, and then 2-1 against Northwestern. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but both of those series we won Friday, won Saturday. There might have been doubleheaders. Won the first game, won the second.
Yeah, no, and beating Indiana in that series, that's the first time that Penn State beat Indiana since 2009 in a series. So, that's Indiana, is one of the more prominent programs in the Big Ten, and, at least in the last decade, 15 years or so, like they've won a lot of games, and they've had a ton of talent come out of there. So, it's exciting to go in there, ultimately take that series from Indiana, and then, right back this week and beating Northwestern the first 2. They dropped the third, but that's 2 series wins, 2 series into the year. So we got momentum.
And you'd have to think that's giving them confidence. It's certainly from a more fan perspective now, it gives me confidence knowing that we go beat Indiana, and then we come back and we go to Evanston and beat Northwestern. Now, Northwestern may not be top echelon of the Big Ten the last couple of years, but I think sometimes, especially when you have a big series win and the energy's high and it's easy to kind of have a lull and fall asleep. And I know our pitching staff is a little bit beat up as well. So we had some different, looks on the mound this weekend. So to kind of overcome that, it's easy when you have some guys go down. It sounds like it's temporary, but when you have guys go down, you're like, man, yeah, it's going to be tough without him, and didn't really see that much out of these guys.
Yeah, for sure. And, dude, I mean, Northwestern, statistically, they might not be the best team, but, like, going, first of all, to the Windy City, in March and having to play, out in that weather, there's still adversity there, and there's still, ultimately tons of learning points and things that you can take away to get better that weekend. And, coming out with the W in that series is big because, there are other factors. There's travel, there's, your nutrition, your rest, all that stuff, and probably the weather.
Yeah. Do you remember when we went to Northwestern?
Miserable. It was so miserable.
Miserable, but I have one awesome memory from that trip. We had one of our teammates, Jack Anderson, is from Evanston, Illinois, and he had all his high school buddies come out to the game, and we were playing at Northwestern, and his buddies heckled the ever-loving crap out of the Northwestern team at their home field. I'll never forget, I hit a double or got the second whatever, and the shortstop's like, I've never been heckled at my home field before.
Yeah, no, dude, Jack Anderson was an absolute dude. Like, to this day, Jack Anderson's one of my favorite pitchers. Like, when it comes to being a competitor and a winner and just finding a way, like, he was a tough dude. And that was a fun weekend. I think between Jack's family and all of Jack's friends from his hometown, I think we had more fans probably than Northwestern.
I know. And for those of you listening, Jack Anderson was a subby. He was a submarine knuckle scraper, legitimately releasing the ball from his ankles. And it
Dude,
was
at Illinois, my sophomore year, we were at Illinois. He threw that pitch and literally scraped his fingers on the mound and had to come out because he was bleeding. Like, he was that low. And dude, he went on. He had an unbelievable pro career. He didn't make it to the big leagues and stuff, but I think he was a Double-A All-Star twice. He found a way at every level to be super competitive.
Without a doubt.
He's still one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he was fun to play behind. A lot of ground balls for us infielders.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, well, let's go over our stats thus far in the season. Like I said, 18 games in, we're 14-4. As a former hitter, I'm going to go through some of our hitting stats. But Jack Porter is leading our team in hitting right now at 387. Paxton Kling, 375. Cole Mercado, 328. Jesse Jakonski, 295. Cole Wagner, 286. Right, and everybody's up there. I mean, our day-to-day starters, our lowest batting average is 276. And frankly, right now that's Bryce Molano, and the dude's a stud. So 276 is not shabby whatsoever. And that's the last out of our starters right now. And Bryce is going to continue to be a weapon in our offense. And so as a excuse me, guys. And so as a weapon in our lineup like that, and as a fan, I'm not concerned about that at all. He's being very productive. He's tied for the lead on our team in RBIs. So a ton to really be excited about. But I think what's even more telling than just reading down our stat sheet is our Big Ten rankings. So in terms of average, Jack Porter's 10th in the Big Ten. Paxton Kling's 13th in the Big Ten in batting average. Our team is 5th in the Big Ten, which is right where we need to be. Home runs, Paxton Kling's 4th in the Big Ten with 9. We are tied for 1st in the Big Ten in home runs. And that's the most telling thing to me about this offense, because Penn State is not an easy place to hit home runs. Like, people might think I'm lying here, but my 3 years at Penn State, I think I saw 3 right-handed hitter home runs in 3 years.
Yeah, you're not lying, dude.
I think we hit 4 in one game like 2 weeks ago.
No, dude, I remember in my whole career at Penn State, I think I gave up 1 home run. And it was on the first pitch of a game against Nebraska down the left field line. And I'm like, all right, tip your cat. Like, it is what it is. But, like, dude, this offense, we score over 10 runs in 70% of our games.
Yeah.
Like, if you literally just go through the last 5 games, they've scored 10 runs in 4 of those games. And the total run total is over 50, if not the high 50s, low 60s, with how many runs they're scoring, where
Right.
This offense, it really gets going. And, we split the series midweek against Georgetown, and, we lost 14-10. The first of the midweeks, the second midweek game, we ended up winning 11-6, and Paxton Kling, he had 5 hits. He homered in that game, doubled, multiple RBIs. So, ultimately this offense, they were really swinging it, midweek. And, they brought that into the first 2 games of the series at Northwestern, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and again, speaks to our offense. Those midweek games sometimes can be low energy, come out flat. They're not doing that at all. And to speak to the amount of runs we're scoring, I think this little graphic was posted on Twitter, Penn State baseball, but we're 6th in Division I baseball in runs per game at 10.1. We're 8th in Division I baseball in home runs per game at 2.1. And we've had 12 games scoring double-digit runs. So that is certainly a recipe for success. Now, the one thing that I'll say is I don't know that we've faced a true dude on the mound. I don't know. Maybe we have. I could be wrong. Our offense certainly seems to be very capable, but as you know, as you get into these big series, certainly later in the year, when you're facing a stud on Friday night, you're going to have to win that game 2-1, 4-3. They're low-scoring games.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, that challenge is kind of yet to come, but I like the building blocks. I really do. I like the simplicity. I like how dynamic it all is. I like how, don't get me wrong, we hit a lot of home runs, but we score a lot of other ways too.
Right.
Over the weekend, we were stealing bags. We were hitting runs, moving guys around. Dirt ball reads, I think, even just dirt ball reads while guys are on base, I think it's the most, aggressive we've been, in a while, which is good to see.
And we are first in the Big Ten stolen bases by 13 stolen bases.
See that? There you go. I didn't even know that stat, but I watched the game. I see guys getting dirty. Yeah,
I love it. That to me is such a telltale sign of the culture and what's going through these guys' heads, because the name of the game is getting scoring position, right?
Yeah.
If you're in scoring position, you're going to score runs. So those guys making it important to get into scoring position and swipe bags, dirt ball reads, not afraid to get dirty. Ryan Weingartner's leading the Big Ten in stolen bases with 16 already. So Cole Mercado's 8th, Cole Wagner's 10th. We have guys that
that's putting pressure on opposing pitchers. That's putting pressure on the defense. That's leading to mistakes, big plays, momentum innings. So it really is everything, and ultimately how that offense gets going, and how aggressive they are from all standpoints, from all levels of it.
And that's how you win those close games. You manufacture runs, because let's be honest, we're not going to hit 6 home runs off of a potential first round pick on a Friday night when we face that.
But they're going to dig in and they're going to battle them.
Right, and again, I'm typically not a stats guy, but our stats are so good. I kind of dove into them today. We're 3rd lowest in the Big Ten strikeouts as well. So we're putting the ball in play. We're getting on base. We're swiping bags. We're manufacturing runs, and we're driving it out of the ballpark.
I think so. It sounds like we need our hitting coach on our next podcast, huh?
I think that's probably a pretty good plan.
That sounds like the plan.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get the hitting coach on the next podcast.
Yeah. Maybe he can revive my career. So, well.
No, yeah, and then, dude, from the pitching side of it, overall, you said we're a little bit worn down a little bit, and guys are kind of ramping up and really starting to get actually into the swing of things here, where, I think in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're going to be really at full blow on the mound. But overall, Ryan DeSantos this week, he'd probably be my pitcher of the week. He went 5 innings on Friday night. no runs, one hit baseball, and essentially he kind of just took Northwestern out of that game where Penn State ran away with it 11-2. We obviously swung the bat well and stuff like that, but anytime we needed a quick 3-out inning, to keep that momentum on our side, he was able to go out there and do that, which was pretty cool. He only faced 16 batters in 5 innings. So, when you're talking about efficiency, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Total batters he could face is 15, right? So that one hit, that's his only base runner allowed. He was pretty much perfect outside of that. After that, Anthony Steele, he came in, he only gave up 1 earned run, couple hits mixed in, but like he kind of seems to be their stopper. He's the big lefty that comes out of the pen, and ultimately all season he's been pretty effective with what he's doing. He's definitely grown, he's definitely developed, and he's definitely maturing on the mound. Where last year, you'd get a really good one out of him, and then you kind of get one where he's a little bit up and down, and like it just seems like the maturity is setting in on the mound for him more and more as a pitcher. Where he looks to be a little bit more aggressive. His total walk numbers are down. 3 innings, 5 punch outs, so punch outs are up. So ultimately his effectiveness on the mound is really important for them out of the pen. And I think Coach Gambino really likes him a lot.
Yeah,
so that's
and
good to see.
He's got 14 strikeouts and 11 in a third to 5 walks. So you're right, because following last year, it seemed like every time, when they brought him in, you didn't really know exactly what you're going to get. I think those walks were certainly up last year. But yeah, you're spot on. He seems to certainly be maturing and just recognizing his role, and that's to come pound the zone, intimidate guys, and bring.
And dude, that's a kid who, he's a left-handed arm. From what I know about him, like he's been up to 95, so like it's a low to mid 90s lefty coming out of the bullpen, and sometimes it just takes a little bit to mature and to truly like understand who you are and what you have. Like that guy can go after anybody in college baseball, and he'll be fine. It's just once that confidence meets his stuff, and you really see it out there, where I think we're seeing more and more of that. This year, where I'd like to see where that continues to go.
Yeah, and we'll certainly need to lean on him as the season goes on.
And dude, with that even being said, like game 2, our starter went out there 2 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs right off the bat, and Matt Marash has been good all year so far. So like, he kind of did lay a little egg here, but then Mason Butash, who last year. He was a freshman, and same thing, like he has a lot of the characteristics to be a dude, where as a freshman, I remember him being up to 93, 94, and same deal like with Steele, where he's younger, he hasn't necessarily matured yet and stuff, and I don't necessarily know how his summer ball went and his fall, but up until this point in the season, he was struggling some, and I think he was hopefully a guy that they were expecting to kind of blossom and to own more of a role this year, where coming in down 5-2 early on in the game, and then going 3 innings and holding them there, kind of giving us a chance to strike back, where in the 5th we came back with a 3-run inning, tied the game. 6th inning we put up 4, and we kind of took control of game 2 there, where very easily after a game 1 win, and then Northwestern going up early in that game on Saturday, if that next arm comes in and he struggles, like we're in big trouble. So I think him coming in early in that game, giving us 3 strong innings and kind of giving the offense time to get going was very important in ultimately winning this series. So like that's one of the big points that I'm going to highlight. And I hope to see him, kind of get rolling and build off of that outing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can speak to it. Just with a strong offense, how much confidence that gives you on the mound. That you just know you just got to go out there and execute your pitches and give your team a chance. And you're always in the game when you have an offense like we have.
Definitely.
From a hitting perspective, my hitter of the week is Jack Porter. He homered in all 3 games this weekend, which is awesome. So he's really hot right now. Like I said earlier, he's leading our team in hitting. He's got 5 home runs, and just driving the ball. So really like what he's doing, but good performances from a lot of guys. So Jack Porter definitely. But back to your point about Marash keeping us in that game. Even our losses this year, you go back and look at the box score, we may be down early, and you're going to see a 5-spot, 6-spot later in the game where our offense just comes out and puts up a bunch of runs and keeps us in the game, even when pitching may not be executing to the best of their ability. So
no, yeah, dude, it's a gritty lineup. Like it's a resilient lineup for sure, and there's no quit. And I look back at when I was in college too, like the offenses that hit a ton of home runs, and they did have more swing and miss, where those offenses didn't really phase a good pitcher, right? But the offenses that are gritty, that get up on the plate, that are battling out at bats, that see the ball deep, and that ultimately put the bat on the ball more than anybody else, they're the offenses that create some havoc, in the game. And, ultimately that's why I like our lineup so much is okay, the power's up, but the swing and miss is also down. So even if we're not hitting home run after home run, we have production constantly.
Yep, absolutely. So just to, I guess a couple areas of concern just based on statistics. And again, statistics are statistics. It doesn't tell the whole story, but it gives some sort of picture. We're middle of the pack right now in fielding. So we're like 9th in the Big Ten in fielding percentage at average. Our ERA is 14th, and our batting average against is the 3rd worst in the Big Ten. So, that's an area that we're a little beat up on the mound, and I think that's going to improve. But right now that's just our weak spot. So
yeah, and dude, some not making an excuse. We're at the end of the day, pitchers they got to execute better, and they got to execute at a little bit higher level, right? To really be uber competitive. Right. But when your offense goes how it's going, and you're pitching with a lead more often, you're going after the heart of the plate more and more.
Right.
Where
that's a good point.
The walk numbers don't concern me. The whips, they don't necessarily concern me. Where, FIP was a big stat that professional baseball looked at, and it was ultimately fielding independent pitching, right? So extra base hits, home runs are going against you drastically, right? Walks are also going against you. So, they're the main things that, I kind of look at to see how our pitchers are performing. And, ultimately when that number can stay low, you can have really competitive pitchers, even if, the statistics aren't showing it, where, I'm not concerned with those numbers. So I think this pitching staff gets going as the arms heat up, as the weather heats up, and, just as they continue to get more and more reps. We talked to Coach Gambino last week. He's motivated to be really good. He's disciplined. He takes accountability and responsibility for, everything in that program. And, I trust the way that he's taken it all. And I trust the day-to-day conversations. I trust the day-to-day development. And I ultimately trust what they're doing this year. And adversity is going to hit at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That they're going to lose a series. They might get swept in a series, but like it's not the end of the day. You learn from it. You keep continuing to get better from that, and that's the name of the game, dude.
Yeah, and in a sick kind of way, I'm kind of excited for that adversity to hit.
Think about that too. Like, think about those pitchers' numbers, and then be like, okay, what if they were lights out? Not even lights out. What if they were a little bit better?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're that close to being really good.
Yeah, and it looks like we have all the pieces there. We got the guys in Penn that can do it. We certainly have the starters that can do it. So just some outings there that weren't great that impact those statistics, and that's why I don't necessarily love just looking at statistics. But they're going to keep getting better, and I almost think that them not getting off to like top of the Big Ten type start off the mound is a good thing for us, because they're going to be hungry to keep improving and to almost keep up with the offense in terms of where our strengths are.
Well, it's also just like the opportunity to find ways to win games in other ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if the offense is firing on full blow, and you can win that way. If you're pitching the shit out of it, you can win that way. And if you do neither, but you battle and you have a process and you have a plan, like, you can still find a way to win. And dude, like, I watch a lot of college baseball in June, and you see a lot of, say, high 30, low 40 win teams that haven't necessarily played tons of talent, but they won that many games over the year. So like, you learn to win. So then when it matters and like all the stakes are on the line, like I'm confident in winning.
Right.
Where you could take a team who, say, they're middle of the conference or lower their conference in a big league and in the SEC or the ACC, and they win 500. They're a 500 win percentage team. Well, like, they only win half their games. Where the more games you win and the more like confidence you can build and ways that you can find to win, the better you are long run.
Yeah, that is a great point. Like, in this sport, anybody can beat anybody, and you can't just go out there and out talent somebody every single week. Like, you can do that in football a little bit. Like Penn State football, I hope this doesn't come back to bite me, but like, we're not losing to Akron ever. We'll never lose to them because we are so much more physical, stronger, faster, and execute better. We're just more talented. Like, baseball,
no, there's definitely levels to it.
Like baseball, anybody can beat anybody. So somebody from the outside looking in could look at our schedule and say, yeah, well, they haven't played anybody yet. Well, good teams win games. Like, they know how to win, and that's what we're doing right now.
No, yeah, for sure.
That's what we're doing right now. So yeah, that's a really good point, and just building that belief as you go of knowing that you have multiple ways and strengths to win baseball games. That's what they're doing every single game, every single series win is like, okay, we're figuring out how to win. And when it really matters is in those really important series late in the year where we have those a little bit of adversity, but still having that belief that we're going to find a way to win.
Yeah, no, dude, and that's how teams make runs in the postseason. Yeah. Like, it's March Madness right now. Like, if you watch college basketball, like, that. Like, any team can win any day. And regardless of your record, whatever, like, they found a way to win to get there. So every single team that takes the court it believes that they could truly win that game, and that's how you see upsets happen. And dude, look back to when Coastal Carolina won the national championship. Like, with the Royals, I ultimately was able to meet Andrew Beckwith. I became good friends with him. He was the College World Series MVP that year, and like, they weren't that good all year, They won late. They started winning series late. They started to get into it. And dude, I've had so many conversations with them. I'm like, how'd you do it, dude? Like, they beat Florida on the way. I think they beat Florida. They beat LSU at LSU in the regional. Like,
right? Yeah.
They did crazy things. And he's like, dude, like, we got momentum. And we knew how to win. We found ways to win, and they went all the way through, and they won the College World Series doing it.
Nuts.
You know what I mean? Where, like, being a gritty, hard-nosed baseball player, fundamentally sound, dynamic, all those things, they play on any level. At the end of the day, like, 60 feet, 6 inches is 60 feet, 6 inches. It doesn't matter if it's, at your local Legion or New York Yankees Stadium. Like, at the end of the day, 60 feet, 6 inches is 60 feet, 6 inches, and, it's who's better right then and there.
Yeah, yeah. And just from knowing Bino for years, like, he's always been that tough, like, Boston.
That's my favorite part of it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Without a doubt. And his team is reflecting that. So I think he's a perfect leader for these guys, and he's certainly assembled a team that embodies that tough, gritty, don't care how we do it, we're just getting it done type mentality.
Yeah, no, and dude, I think, like, with all that being said, we got a dollar dog night coming up.
I know. I think that's already going to happen. But I love dollar dog night. I live in Atlanta, Georgia now, so I can't just drive over there and get me some dollar dogs. But I'm absolutely going to be making it back for a dollar dog night. What a great idea, and I think that kind of fun atmosphere that they're creating with that particular promotion, and then with a good baseball team, really,
yeah, no, for sure, dude. They're creating energy.
Yeah,
they're creating an environment that you can win in. And this week they got St. Bonaventures, they got Lafayette, and then they're at home against Michigan State. So, like, Tuesday night, dollar dog night. Hopefully fans come out. Hopefully it's packed. Hopefully that energy starts getting up, and with these two midweek games, we can really create some more confidence and momentum, get back on track after a loss, and then ultimately bring that into the series against Michigan State, which I think is another one that we can win.
Yeah, without a doubt, Michigan State's off to a pretty good start. They're 13-6. They've had one Big Ten series against Iowa. They won Friday night in a barn burner, and then
so they probably got a dude. I haven't done no research, but Friday night they probably got a dude going.
Most likely. Michigan State's always been a pretty competitive team. I think they've had some down years, but definitely not one to sleep on. But we're at home, first home Big Ten series. I hope we pack that place out.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to be at home for this series too, because Michigan State. I mean, dude, that field's tough to play at. I mean, we got 270 feet in, like, right field, and you're like, is this a baseball field?
Yeah, I remember that. That is nuts, and not to mention the weather in Michigan that time of year can be pretty brutal. So, happy that we're home for that series, and go take our third Big Ten series in a row. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Just got to keep that momentum rolling, and keep doing exactly what they're doing. Keep building on it. Yep. Stay hungry.
Yep. But at the end of the day, we're going to face adversity. Don't know when it's coming, how it's going to happen. I'm genuinely excited for that. Like, we know baseball enough that we're not going to win every series the entire year. We're going to lose one. We're going to lose a heartbreaker, one that we shouldn't lose. How they respond to that is going to be really telling on really where this team's going. And as of now, I'm pretty confident they'll respond well to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Adversity defines character. Bring it on, baby.
That's right. Just talk to guys on the team from 2015, 2017.
Bring it on.
High character individuals. Anything else, Sal?
Nah, that's it, bro.
All right, man. Well, we're going to be having some players on. We're going to be having some coaches on in the coming weeks, so please be sure to tune in. But until next week, Sal. We'll see you later, man.
For sure, big guy. Have a good week, Christian.
Appreciate you, brother.